This video will review how to use interactive Google Slides. And so when you create a Google slide that is interactive, it can be used to link related videos or topics together all on one slide. So you can make it picturesque, cute, if you will, timely, appropriate, while having a lot of different links all on one slide instead of just having a big document of a bunch of different web links. You can also use the Google slide to link to other slides in the presentation so that they click on something and then it takes them to another slide. This is great for question and answer, guess who, Jeopardy, those type things. Often people use their Bitmoji to personalize the scenes to make them look like they are the teacher in the classroom. That is kind of optional, but it is a great way to add a personal touch to the Google Slides. Your first step is going to be to create your Bitmoji if you don't already have one, if you are wanting to use it in your Google Slides. So the first step is you want to go to your App Store on your device, your tablet, your phone, etc., and just look up Bitmoji and download the app, and then you'll create your account and it will walk you through the prompts of building your Bitmoji. You can make it look like you or make it look like somebody totally different. You're able to pick the hair, the clothes, all the different things for your Bitmoji. Once you create your Bitmoji on your device, you're going to want to get the Bitmoji extension so you can very easily and quickly add in your Bitmojis to your Google Slides as you go through. And so to do that, if you just go to bitmoji.com after you've created your Bitmoji and scroll down, you can get Bitmoji for Chrome desktop. So again, this is only going to work for Chrome. So you'll select it. It'll come up as an extension, so you'll just choose to add the extension. I already have it added, so that's why it says remove. But you'll just choose to add this extension, and on your Chrome browser, you will then have up at the very top right, you'll have a little extension icon, and then there will be the link to your Bitmoji. So you're able to click on that. And then here your Bitmoji will be populated here, and you're able to search Bitmoji if you are looking for a particular look, if you're looking for something particular, or you can just search. Often I have good luck with searching pose, and then it's got my Bitmoji posed in multiple ways that I can use on my Google Slides. So again, that is not something that is per se required to create interactive Google Slides, but something that is pretty common to add the human element to your slides. Something else worth mentioning is if you go to Facebook and you just search over here on search Facebook, if you just search something like Bitmoji Classrooms, virtual learning Bitmoji, anything related to that, you'll see a lot of pages and groups show where other teachers internationally, all in the United States, have created these same interactive Google Slides for a variety of topics, a variety of subjects, lessons, etc. And oftentimes they are sharing them to where you can make a copy of them to your Google account, and then you have a copy of it, and maybe even edit it, include your Bitmoji, change it up as necessary. So this will save you a lot of time and effort if you just go through here and find ones that you like. And so you would just search Facebook, and so oftentimes you're required to join the group to be able to download them, but this one is a pretty open. So this is what the complete Bitmoji classroom or the interactive Google slide might look like. This one is just an example. Notice she decorated hers to look like an actual classroom. She included her Bitmoji. Some are doing more for holiday themes, and so instead of putting their Bitmoji, they put, little characters. And once you download this, you're actually going to be able to click on the image here of the book, and it will actually open to a YouTube video of somebody reading the book. And so that way it's a nice little read aloud, if you will, to where especially students doing virtual learning are able to click on this and listen to someone read the book if they don't have the book at home or have someone to read the book. So this can be a nice way if you're doing virtual learning, or if you're doing face-to-face learning. You might have this as a accommodation for students who are having difficulty reading. They listen to somebody read the book as they follow along, or maybe they have to listen to so many books a night. Or if you know a student doesn't have a parent or some type of parental figure at home to read to them, you might give them access to this so at least they can hear somebody read to them outside of the house. So again, you can just scroll down and choose any of these. There's often a link to them. So in this case, it's going to link to this teacher's, and so I can click on that. and it's going to ask, do I want to make a copy of this? And I do. And so it's going to make a copy of that Google Interactive slide that she created. It's going to make a copy of it for me. And so here it is. The copy is ready to go. And so now I'm able to send it to my students and allow them to view it. So what my students would do is need to just, once they open the slide, and you would link this in Google Classroom, which I'll show you how to do later, but then they would just come here. They would go to Present, and then it will open up very similar to full screen mode, and then the student would simply click on the link and it will open up into, and again, this one is the video of the book being read aloud. So this one is a Christmas read aloud. But again, you can make this for a variety of things. This might be books about plants. This might be books by a certain author. These might be books about the Civil War. These might be links to historical facts about the Civil War. It can be for any topic, any topic, any subject area. So now let's get started creating our own Google Interactive slide. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you're using Google Browser, and then you want to come up to the waffle area, and in this case you want to go to Google Slides, which is again very similar to PowerPoint. It's just Google's version. So we'll choose Google Slides, and notice you can pick different templates. In this case, I'm just going to pick a blank one because I'm going to create my own from scratch. So again, you can see that this looks very similar to PowerPoint in terms of creating text, adding slides, creating shapes, all of that good stuff. So that's just a regular old standard PowerPoint that you can create with Google Slides. However, we're going to do something a little bit different with our interactive Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and use a blank slide, and I'm going to delete off anything. So I'm just going to have a blank white background. So then I want to build my Google Classroom. Now this is up to you. I want to build it to where it looks like an actual classroom. Some people don't. Some people, if you noticed on the Christmas one, it was a bunch of books listed with, someone here. It didn't really look like a classroom per se. You can decorate it however you want to. The Christmas one had Christmas lights at the top. It's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and create mine looking like an actual classroom though, so you can see what that looks like. So to begin, I want to add those background images to make it look like a classroom. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and I'm going to search the web. And so here we're going to search for images, and we're going to use terms like classroom, floor, classroom, background, classroom wallpaper, things like that. It also helps if you put translucent on the search so that you're going to be pulling images that don't have backgrounds on them to make them easier to find. So like, let me just look up classroom background. And so this one's a good one. It's one that was already built, and so it's got, a desk and that kind of background. So that's an option. And so you can come, none of these are really what I'm looking for. I might say something like floor background. And so notice that I'm going to want something that kind of has this, that kind of has a little bit of a floor, but then a little bit of a wall. So like something like this that would work. So something like this. And so you would just drag it and drop it. And then you just want to make it the size of the slide. So this one is a good one because notice that I have floor here, and then I also have an area for my wall. So this will be my classroom. This one, isn't that great because it's just floor. This one kind of has that 3D looking effect. So that's really what you're looking for. Something like this maybe, something like this. So you can just continue to search and then just drag them over when you find one that you like. And again, looking at the Facebook pages will give you a lot of inspiration. All right, so from here, I want to add in my classroom materials. So most of the time you want a whiteboard, right? So we'll choose whiteboard, and I will do translucent or transparent because I want to make sure that it doesn't have a background on it. So when I see one, I can pull it over, And so there could be my whiteboard here, right there, if I wanted to do that. If I want one more of an easel, I can choose that one and put it over here, and I can make it whatever size I want to. And so I can do all different types of things here. If I want one that more or less just hangs on the wall, I can choose this and drag it and put it in my classroom. So again, basically I'm just going to go through and basically design a classroom using that. So you might search things like tables or desks, transparent. And then you might find some little school desks that you want to put in. And so you would just resize them and move them around. You want to keep in mind when you're doing this the proportions that you're working with though. Obviously this is going to be a big image. This would be something big on the wall. The desks are not going to be that big. So you want to just kind of keep them into proportions. And then you can always Control C, Control V and make multiple ones if you want to have different desks going on. It might be that you want to put in a table here for the teacher. It might be that you want beanbag chairs, storage, you name it. It's really up to you. Now, something you'll find as you're adding in your materials is notice that I brought in a shelf, but it's sitting on top of my beanbag, which I don't want that to do. I want the layered effect to where the beanbag is um, in front of the shelf. And so what you can do is you can actually click on the beanbag and right click on it, and there will be a order and you want to bring it to the front, and then that will have it move to the front. So you might have to use the layering or the ordering to get your items to work and go where you want them to go. Now, I've spent some time filling out my slide, and I'm going to be including two standards in this slide. I'm going to be talking about fact or fiction in terms of fact or fiction stories, having the students determine what is fact and what is fiction, as well as I want to talk a little bit about counting money and talking about the values of money. So, in most cases, you only have one topic being included, but just for the purpose of this, I'm including two topics so you can kind of see how they can be different or the same. So what I plan to do next is I want to include images like you saw on the Christmas slide earlier. I want to include book titles here with links to those books being read on YouTube so that the students are able to click on that link and hear it read to them and then decide if it is fact or fiction. So in that case, when I go to insert image, search the computer, I can try to search the title of the book and then book transparent to see if it will pull. Oftentimes it won't, however. So what you might have to do is open up a new Google slide, or I'm sorry, a new Google browser, and then just search Three Little Pigs book cover. You might have to search it that way to get the book cover, to find the book cover. And so in that case, what you can do is just right click it, just find the image that you want, and then right click on it and save that image to your computer itself. And then what you would do is you would come in and insert image, but you would upload from your computer this time. And then you would pick an image from your computer to bring in. And then now I can make that a little bit smaller and put it over here on my fiction side. Or, I'm actually gonna, I can have a fiction side and I could have a fiction and a nonfiction side, or I could just mix them up and have them guess which ones are which. So that's really up to what I'm trying to do in my lesson. So now that I've got my fiction books added, I want to put in my links so that when the students click on the image, it takes them to a reading of the book. So in that case, the first thing I want to do is go to YouTube, and I want to search for read aloud of whatever the title of the book is. So read aloud Three Little Pigs. And then I can choose whichever one I like. I mean, it's really up to you. You can watch different ones and whichever you prefer. And so I like this one. So I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to click on the image in that slide. I'm going to right click. Actually, instead of right clicking, I'm going to click on the image itself, and then right here on the toolbar is going to be an insert link. And then I'm just going to paste in that URL. So that now when the students click on this image, it's going to open up to a YouTube video of the Three Little Pigs being read. So again, that process is to go to YouTube to find the book that you want read, copy that URL. On your presentation, click on the image, choose the insert button, and then paste in that YouTube video. And so on and so forth for the rest of your images that you want linked to, the rest of your books that you want linked to read alouds. Now that I have the rest of my books linked in with their appropriate videos, let's move on to something else. So what I can also do is add in text. So maybe here on the whiteboard I want to add in some text. So I'm going to do insert text box. And I'm going to draw a text box here, and maybe I'm going to write what we're learning about. So we're learning about fiction versus nonfiction, and we're learning about coin values. And so I can come and change the font, do all the different things that you would do in a regular PowerPoint. Maybe I want to put these as bullet pointed. Oops. And also notice that you have the undo button, so if you make a mistake you can always fix it. And so you can just continue to edit this to your liking. Now what we might want to do is go ahead and bring in my Bitmoji that I want to include. So again, I will just come to the very top where I have this extension. Remember that you have to be on the Chrome browser to do that. Then you'll choose your Bitmoji, and then you can find one that is appropriate. You can also do poses to find a pose that works well for you. And so you would just drag it and drop it. And you might have to do some maneuvering to get it to be in the right location, in the right place. And so in this case, she is in front of stuff, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on things. I'm actually going to move her, and I'm going to click on other things. I'm going to hold down the shift button. I'm going to click on other items that she's getting in front of. I'm going to right click in order and bring them to the front, so that when she comes over, she's more or less standing behind them. Now what you can also do is notice she's kind of waving. She's not really in the right direction. And so another thing you can do is you can click on her or the image, and you can choose to format options for this image. And then you can choose the rotation. So you can choose to flip her to where now she's waving in the right direction. And so again, to flip things around a little bit, you can just right click on them, format options, and then flip them either horizontally or vertically if you need to. Alright, so here she is. So the next thing that, oops, look, see this, when I move this table, my coins went behind. So I want to make sure to fix that and move them to the front so that they're not covered up. So you just want to make sure that you're giving your images an overlook and make sure that they are, nothing's getting covered up. And again, to do this, you would just click on the images, right click, and then you'll do order bring to the front, and so that they'll be in the right place. So they'll all be where they need to be, and then I can move them and get them situated the way I want to. Alright, so now I want to work on my coins. And so what you can do in this, while these images link to YouTube videos, I want these to link to other slides in the presentation. So what I might do is I'm going to come over to the side, and I'm going to copy my entire slide, But I'm going to get rid of all the stuff except for a couple of things, because I'm going to use this slide to really accent each of these coins. Okay, so I'm going to make this bigger. And I want to keep my decoration. But in this case, I'm only going to want to review one coin at a time. So I'm going to make this coin larger. All right. And so here, what I'm going to want to do on this particular slide is I'm just going to want to describe what a nickel is. Alright, so what I've done here is just added in text where basically they see the nickel and then they read about it. And so I'm going to do that for each of the coins. So I'm just going to come over here to the slide and I'm going to copy and paste that one that I just created. And then I'm going to come back and grab, say, the penny this time. And so I'm going to delete out the nickel. I'm going to put in the penny, and then I'm going to just fill out the information for the penny. And I'm going to do that for all the coins. Alright, so now I have all of my slides built with the coin and an explanation. And so what I want to do is go back to my first slide, and I want to link these images to the slide that goes with them. So I'm going to choose the nickel, and then I'm going to choose insert link. And then instead of pasting in the URL like I did for the books, I'm going to choose slides in this presentation. So when we choose slides in the presentation, it's going to let us pick the slide that we want it to link to. And so in this case, I want it to link to slide number 2, which is the nickel. So I want to choose slide number 2 and apply that. And so I just want to do that for all of these. So the dollar bills, link slides in the presentation, and those go to number 6. Apply. The penny goes to link slides in the presentation. The penny's number 3. Apply, so on and so forth till you have all of them linked up. So also something you want to make sure to do on your slide somewhere is to link to the standards. And so I just put a little notebook here as like a planner. And what I plan to do with that is link it to this slide where I've just put in the standards for what is covered in this lesson. So again, just like I did with the coin values, I'll just click on the object. I'll do insert slides in the presentation, and I'm going to pick slide number 7 for that. So now it'll link to the standard. Now for a little bit of fun. What we're going to do now is build a little bit of a quiz. And so what I've created a new slide, just copied the slide over and then just maneuvered some things around, and I added some text. Which of these books are fiction? Click on the fiction books to check your answer, and then I just brought in the images of the different books again. So what I want to do now is create response slides for each of these, because what I want to happen is when the student gets to this slide, I want them to be able to view this and then click on the 3 little pigs, and I want it to go to a slide that says, you're correct, the 3 little pigs is fiction because 3 pigs can't talk, or whatever. And so I want 3 different slides explaining why each is correct or incorrect. So I'm just going to copy my slide. I always like to start from a slide that's already copied, and I will say correct. Why pigs cannot build houses or talk. A wolf really might eat a pig though. And so, and in that case, I'm just going to keep the 3 little pigs image on that one. All right, and so I'm going to do that for the other ones as well. So that was my 3 little pigs. Now I want to do it for the if you give a mouse a cookie. And in that case, that one also is going to be correct. Why? Because Mice cannot talk, eat cookies, draw pictures, etc. All right. And then I'm going to do my last one. And that one's going to be Abraham Lincoln. And I put not correct because the question asks, is which of these books are fiction? And so they want to make sure that they are clicking on, if they click on Abe Lincoln, that one is not correct because it isn't fiction. So here I might say, why? Because Abe Lincoln was a real person. This book is non fiction. So you could go about this different ways. You could keep adding slides and maybe, add another slide to where you have, three different images and, three different images and you go back and then you add some more. It could be that you have one to where you click on the image and it tells you if it's fact or fiction. You could do this multiple ways. And so to activate this little quiz that I did, it's just a one question quiz really at this point, is on my main slide. I want to have a slide here. So I'm going to click on this little question mark and I'm going to insert a link, slides in this presentation, and I'm going to have it go to the first slide in the question slide, which is slide number 8. So I click on this, I go to quiz, and then slide number 8. So when they click on this, it's going to take them to the question. Now what I want to do is I want to link these to the appropriate places. So the three little pigs, that one's going to go to slide number 9. So this is a way that you really have to think out what the student's going to be clicking on and what they're going to be doing. So if they click on, if they give a mouse a cookie, that's going to go to slide number 10 where it's going to tell them that they are correct, that this one is a fiction book. And then Abe Lincoln is going to go to link number or slide number 11, which is going to take him to where it says not correct. Why? Because Abe Lincoln was a real person. Okay, so now I have my quiz to where basically all the students are going to see is they're going to click on this one little exclamation mark and it's going to link them right to this page, and then they're going to click on each of these and it's going to link them to the response. So now let's do something really similar for the coins. So kind of the same thing here. I've added in my question, which coin is worth 10 cents. I've added in my images. And then I'm just going to copy these out and build in my correct or incorrect. So in this case, it would be correct. The dime is worth 10 cents. And that would be the dime. I would then want to copy that out and have not correct. The penny is worth 1 cent. So I want to make sure to come and get that penny image and make it to where it's here. And then lastly, I want to grab the dollar. So not correct. The dollar is worth 100 cents. And I will need to grab that dollar bill. Alright, so now what I want to do is link them up. So I come back to my main image. The dollar bill is going to link and it's going to go to the slides in the presentation, slide 15. Apply. This one is going to go to slide 14. Apply. This one is going to go to slide 13. And apply. Great. And so now those are all linked up. And so I want to link this quiz though, which starts out on this slide number 12. I want to link this up to the piggy bank. And so I'm going to link it to slide number 12 so that when they click on this, it's going to take them immediately to slide number 12. It's going to ask this question, and then based upon what they pick, it's going to link them to the correct slide. Okay, so we're pretty much finished now. Everything's linked up. The last thing that you want to do that I notice a lot of people don't have on their slides are explanations. So you'll often just see this slide and the students don't really know what to do. They don't really know what to click on, what to do on the slides. So it's good to add in text boxes that explain what you're supposed to do in each of these things. All right, so here you notice that I have added in little text boxes that explain click on the computer to take a quiz, click on the pig to take a quiz, click on the coins to learn more about them, click on my planner to see the standards, click on the books to hear the read aloud. So it kind of explains to them what they're supposed to be doing. So the last thing that you want to do is you want to make sure to add a back to the title slide link on these pages, because what will happen is I'm looking at this page, I click on the link to the nickel, it's going to take me the link to the nickel, but then how do I get back to this first interactive page without having to filter around the entire PowerPoint? So what you want to do is you want to link in an image just at the bottom that says, take me back home if you want to. And so I'm going to do that by going to each page, and I'm going to grab a little Bitmoji, and I'm going to find a little Bitmoji, and I'm going to go ahead and pick one. And so now I've picked a Bitmoji that says take me back. And what I'm going to want to do is click on that and have it to where it is going to link. So I'm going to get my web link icon up here. So I'm going to choose the link button, and then I'm going to have this link back to the first slide in the presentation, which is this home slide. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it and paste it on every single slide, and it's going to come with that link already in it. And so what that's going to allow it to do is whenever they hit any of these slides, it's going to come across with that information on it. All right, so the last thing that we have to do now is to share this. And so to share this with others, a very important step is to come up to the top and choose share. And then you want to come down to get a link, but you want to make sure to change it, and you want to make sure, absolutely sure, that it says anyone with the link can view. You want it to be on viewer. You do not want it to be on commenter or editor, because if you have it on either of these, it will allow the students to comment or edit, actually move the things on your slides, and you don't want them to do that. You just want them to interact with it. So again, you're going to make sure that you see viewer here, and then you're going to copy this link. And this is the link you're going to post for this assignment in the discussion board, but this would also be the link that you would post in your Google Classroom for the students to see. So now when I click on this as a student, or as anybody not the person who created it, see I see only view only mode, so I'm not able to edit it. So to really interact with it, I'll go to present. And then just like the students will, I'm able to click on the different things to open up to the different videos that I'm watching on YouTube. So I'm able to do that. I'm also able to come and click on the planner, which is going to take me to my planner and then take me back. It's going to take me back to the main page. Clicking on the coins, again, I click on those. They tell me about it, take me back. So again, this is all of our handiwork that we've been working on in this video. So that's what we do there. And then here with the quiz, I click on this, and then which of these books are fiction. I click on the 3 little pigs. Yes, it's correct. Take me back. I click on this one. If you give a mouse a cookie, correct. Take me back. And this one, it's incorrect. Same thing with this little piggy. So which one is worth 10 cents? This one's correct. And then this one isn't correct. So again, now it is fully functioning interactive Google slide. So to post this in your Google Classroom, you're just going to go to classwork, create. You can choose whatever you want. This time I'm just going to make it a regular link. So material, I will say Friday's lesson, click on this link to view the lesson, and then of course I would want to give more specific details on exactly what they're supposed to do. And then I'm going to add in a link, and I'm going to drop in that Google link there, and then I'm going to post that. So now the students will go into their Google Classroom, they'll click on the lesson that's appropriate, click on that, and then it'll open it right up to where they can interact with it. And that is how you create an interactive Google slide.